Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the strangest bans from around the globe. Buckle up because we're about to take a wild ride through the world's most head-scratching, eyebrow-raising, and downright bizarre bans. You won't believe what some countries have outlawed. Our first stop takes us to the famously pristine streets of Singapore. Singapore is known for being incredibly clean, almost clinically so. And while that's great for anyone who enjoys, not wading through garbage, it turns out their obsession with cleanliness comes at a cost. Chewing gum. Yes, you heard that right, chewing gum. That ubiquitous wad of sticky joy is completely banned in Singapore. Back in the early 1990s, the Singaporean government decided they'd had enough of people sticking their gum on sidewalks, under benches, and basically anywhere it shouldn't be. So they took the most drastic measure imaginable. They outlawed it. Singapore's streets are spotless. Next up, we travel to the land of haute cuisine, France, where even the condiments are subject to strict regulations. Specifically, we're talking about ketchup. In 2011, the French government decided to limit the amount of sugary, processed foods in school lunches, and ketchup fell victim to this culinary crusade. The ban only applies to school cafeterias, so French children can still enjoy their beloved ketchup at home. But still, it does make you wonder, is a life without easy access to ketchup truly a life worth living? The French, it seems, would argue oui. From culinary crackdowns to safety regulations, our next stop takes us to Canada, the land of maple syrup, politeness, and a firm stance against baby walkers? Yes, you heard that right. Those wheeled contraptions designed to help babies practice walking are actually banned in the Great White North. Baby walkers can be surprisingly hazardous, giving babies access to things they shouldn't be able to reach, like hot stoves and stairs. Babies in walkers are basically tiny, adorable drunk drivers. The ban, enacted in 2004, was based on safety concerns and statistics showing a high number of baby walker-related injuries. The Canadian government decided to take a better safe than sorry approach, so if you're planning a trip to Canada with your little one, you might want to leave the baby walker at home. And trust us, you don't want to mess with those hats. Our next stop takes us to Romania, where, in the early 1980s, the government decided to ban Scrabble. Yes, Scrabble, the beloved family game of word forming and vocabulary flexing, was deemed a threat to the Romanian people. According to Nicolae Ceausescu, Romania's dictator at the time, Scrabble was a subversive, dangerous, and excessively intellectual game. He saw Scrabble as a tool for dissent, a way for people to gather and potentially, think for themselves. So Scrabble was banned, driven underground, forced into the shadows like some kind of illicit word game speakeasy. Thankfully, the ban was lifted after the Romanian Revolution in 1989, and Scrabble lovers across the country could finally rejoice. But still, the fact that it happened at all just goes to show that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Or, in this case, stranger than a triple-word score on the word tyranny. Our journey through the world's strangest bans takes us next to Saudi Arabia, where expressing your love and affection for that special someone can be a bit tricky, especially on Valentine's Day. That's because, in Saudi Arabia, Valentine's Day is not a recognized holiday. In fact, it's actively discouraged. Valentine's Day is seen as a Western holiday, rooted in Christian traditions, which doesn't align with Saudi Arabia's strict interpretation of Islam. Public displays of affection are generally frowned upon, and businesses are discouraged from promoting the holiday. This means no heart-shaped balloons, no giant teddy bears clutching I love you pillows, and definitely no cheesy Hallmark cards lining the store shelves. But hey, maybe that's not such a bad thing. After all, who needs overpriced roses and crowded restaurants when you can express your love any day of the year? Hold on to your hair gel, folks, because our next stop takes us to Iran, where expressing your individuality through certain hairstyles can land you in hot water. In Iran, certain Western-style haircuts are strictly prohibited, particularly for men. We're talking about styles that the Iranian government deems decadent and contrary to Islamic teachings. Think spiky hair, mullets, and anything that might be described as too Western. The crackdown on Western hairstyles began in 2010 as part of a larger effort to combat what the government sees as the negative influence of Western culture. Tattoos, solarium tans, and even plucked eyebrows for men have also faced the wrath of the Iranian fashion police. So if you're planning a trip to Iran, you might want to pack a comb and some hair gel, but leave the trendy haircuts and eyebrow tweezers at home. Our next stop takes us to China, where we delve into the fascinating and slightly perplexing world of reincarnation regulations. That's right, in China, reincarnation, that age-old concept of the soul being reborn into a new body, is not simply a matter of karma and cosmic forces. In 1995, the Chinese government enacted a law that prohibits Tibetan Buddhist monks from reincarnating without official approval. You need permission from the Communist Party to be reborn. Tibetan Buddhism believes that High Lamas can choose to be reborn after death to continue their teachings. The Chinese government sees this belief as a threat to its authority, particularly when it comes to the selection of the next Dalai Lama. By requiring government permission for reincarnation, they aim to control the succession of Tibetan Buddhist leaders and maintain their grip on Tibet. Because apparently, even the afterlife isn't free from paperwork. Our colorful journey through the world's strangest bands takes us next to Malaysia, where wearing a certain hue can land you in hot water. We're talking about the color yellow, the cheerful shade of sunshine, sunflowers, and political dissent. In 2015, a coalition of Malaysian NGOs launched a series of protests against the then Prime Minister Najib Razak, who was embroiled in a corruption scandal. The protesters chose yellow as their symbol of solidarity, wearing yellow shirts and carrying yellow banners with the word bersih, which means clean in Malay. The Malaysian government saw the color yellow as a threat to national security and public order. Wearing yellow clothing, particularly yellow bersih shirts, was deemed illegal, and anyone caught doing so faced arrest and fines. The government even banned the sale of yellow clothing and accessories in the lead-up to rallies. It highlighted the Malaysian government's intolerance of dissent and its willingness to go to absurd lengths to silence its critics. Fasten your seatbelts, everyone, because our next stop takes us to China, where the government has decided to put the brakes on time travel, at least on screen. In China, time travel movies and TV shows are subject to strict censorship. The Chinese government argues that time travel narratives can be disruptive, disrespectful to history, and potentially harmful to society. They take their history very seriously and don't want any fictional shenanigans messing with the official narrative. Time travel stories can trivialize historical events, distort the past, and even inspire, well, time crimes. So, if you're a fan of time travel movies and TV shows, you might want to lower your expectations when it comes to Chinese cinema. Don't expect to see any Chinese-produced films about hopping in a DeLorean to rewrite history or venturing through wormholes to meet your ancestors. Our final stop on this whirlwind tour of the world's strangest bands takes us to North Korea, where even hairstyles are subject to strict regulations. In North Korea, men are strongly discouraged from sporting long hair or, heaven forbid, ponytails. According to the North Korean government, long hair is associated with capitalist decadence. Apparently, letting your hair grow past a certain length is a sign that you've been corrupted by the evils of the West. There are also rumors that Kim Jong-un, North Korea's supreme leader, simply doesn't like long hair on men. And in a country where the leader's preferences are basically law, well, you can see how that might lead to a ponytail prohibition. So if you're planning a trip to North Korea, you might want to pack a pair of scissors and familiarize yourself with the government-approved list of haircuts. Because in North Korea, even your hair is a reflection of your loyalty to the state. And there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of some of the strangest, most head-scratching bands from around the globe. From chewing gum to ketchup, baby walkers to time travel, we've covered it all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating content. See you next time.